Imagine this. A cold wind slices across the Atlantic, carrying with it the smell of salt, fear, and hope. A wooden ship creaks under the weight of worn-down travelers, families clinging to the idea of a new beginning. Among them stands a compact, fiery-eyed soldier, not a pilgrim, not a seeker of religious freedom, but a man was hired to protect them, a man who would end up shaping their survival. His name was Miles Standish. And this is his story. When the Mayflower dropped anchor off Cape Cod in 1620, everything about the moment felt wrong. The settlers expected Virginia. They got the frozen edge of New England. They expected houses. They found forests and winter storms. But Standish, muscles tensed beneath his armor, saw something else: vulnerability. He was a professional soldier, hardened in Europe's brutal wars. He had traveled with the Pilgrims not as a believer, but as a protector. And from the moment he stepped onto the icy sand, he understood the truth. If these people were going to survive, he would have to become their shield. The first winter proved him right. Snow fell in sheets. Food stores ran out. More than half the colony died. Coughs echoed through the crude shelters. At night, wolves prowled the forest's edge. Every sound made the settlers flinch. Miles Standish rarely slept. Wrapped in a wool cloak, musket in hand, he paced the settlement's perimeter. The crunch of his boots in the snow became a kind of comfort, an audible reminder that someone was watching, someone was ready. His job was to prepare for threats from the unknown: wildlife, rival European powers, and conflicts with indigenous tribes, many of whom were wary or outright hostile toward the newcomers. And yet, the story of Miles Standish is not one of reckless violence. It is one of grim responsibility, decisions made in a world where hesitation could mean the collapse of an entire colony. Spring brought new dangers. Word reached Plymouth that certain groups in the region might be preparing to challenge the fragile settlement. Some stories were exaggerated, some true, and some lost in translation between cultures. Standish listened carefully. He studied the land. He learned which groups were friendly, which were neutral, and which might turn aggressive. He built alliances, most importantly with Massasoit, the Wampanoag leader whose diplomacy helped both peoples avoid immediate war. But peace in early New England was a fragile thread. Misunderstandings, rivalries, and shifting tribal politics created a tension that flickered like a flame in dry grass. And when that flame caught, Standish was the one expected to face it. One of the most gripping episodes in his life unfolded in 1623. Reports reached Plymouth that a hostile group planned to attack both the English and Massasoit's people. According to the settlers' accounts, the threat was serious. Miles Standish was ordered to neutralize it. This wasn't a grand battlefield showdown. No thundering lines of musket fire, no sweeping formations. It was tense, close, personal, and desperate. An operation conducted in cramped huts, face to face, where a single mistake meant death. Standish entered with a small force. The air inside was thick, woven with suspicion, shifting eyes and concealed blades. The moment violence broke out, it was fast and brutal. The English prevailed, and the immediate threat, at least as the settlers understood it, was stopped. It was one of the most controversial moments of Standish's life. In later years, some would see him as too harsh. Others believed he acted exactly as a military commander should when a fledgling colony's existence hung in the balance. But in 1623, to the settlers who feared annihilation, he was the man who stepped forward when no one else could. Still, that event didn't define all of Miles Standish. Much of his heroism came not from battles, but from building, protecting, and planning. He helped lay out the defenses of Plymouth, simple at first, then steadier and more organized as the colony grew. He drilled the militia, trained the settlers in musket use, and arranged lookout posts. He personally led expeditions to gather information about the land, mapping coastlines, learning trails, and scouting potential threats. But there was another part of Standish rarely mentioned in history books, a quieter side that surfaced only in small moments. When he carried the sick back to shelter during the first winter, when he helped bury the dead secretly, so nearby tribes wouldn't see how weak the colony had become, when he stood guard by the communal fire at night, staring into the flames, quietly calculating the risks of tomorrow. He was not only a soldier, he was a caretaker of a fragile hope. As Plymouth stabilized, Standish remained its unwavering military backbone. When new settlements branched out, he traveled between them, negotiating, inspecting defenses, and settling disputes. Though not a charismatic speaker, he possessed something the settlers valued even more: reliability. He showed up when danger appeared. He made decisions quickly. He stayed calm while others panicked. And he stayed for the rest of his life. Miles Standish lived in Plymouth Colony for decades. He farmed. He raised a family. He served as an assistant in the colony's government and was elected to official positions multiple times, not because he sought political power, but because the people trusted him implicitly. Near the end of his life, long after the chaos of the early years had faded, he settled in a quieter area south of Plymouth. The man who once paced through nights of fear now looked out on peaceful fields. He died in 1656, not in battle but at home, having lived long enough to see the tiny, shivering settlement of 1620 grow into something stable, something enduring. And that is the part of this story worth remembering. Plymouth did not survive because of myth or luck. It survived because individuals carried impossible burdens. One of those individuals was Miles Standish. He didn't write stirring speeches. He didn't command armies of thousands. He didn't pursue glory or fame. He wasn't even a pilgrim by belief. He was simply the one who stood watch, the one who volunteered to walk into danger so others could sleep, the one who believed that a community, fragile as it was, deserved a chance to take root. When we look back on early American history, it's easy to focus on leaders who shaped laws and ideals. But before laws and ideals can grow, someone must protect the people who hold them. Miles Standish was that protector. A soldier hired for a journey, a guardian forged by hardship, and a quiet, steadfast figure whose courage helped a struggling group of settlers survive their first, most perilous years in a strange new world. In the end, his legacy is not a single dramatic event, but a lifetime of vigilance, a lifetime of choosing duty over comfort, a lifetime of standing between danger and hope. And that is the true story of Miles Standish, the warrior who helped keep Plymouth alive.